Good Monday morning, everyone, and welcome into today's daily Bible reading for July the 29th. Today, we are reading together Psalm number 92. The 92nd Psalm has been given the title in my Bible, God's Love and Faithfulness. It does have a superscription, which is unusual and not very common within this fourth book of the Psalter. Psalms 90 through 106, only a handful have superscriptions. This is one of them, and it's given a pretty unique one, something that we have not seen so far within the Psalter. We are told that this is a psalm, a song for the Sabbath day. A song for the Sabbath day. So, of course, this is going to focus on the Sabbath day, which was a day of focused worship and praise of God. It was a day whenever, of course, and everything with the Sabbath, the thing that pops in everybody's mind first and foremost is the rest from work. But it was not just a day to lay around lazily doing nothing, but it was a day again of focused worship and praise. We are told in Leviticus 23 and verse number 3 that there was to be a sacred assembly that took place on the Sabbath days. I'd say it was probably something akin to our worship assemblies that take place on Sundays. But again, the focus here is not just on doing nothing, being absent-minded, not being focused, not simply being not focused on the regular everyday grind, but instead using our mind to focus on God, or using their mind, excuse me, to focus on God, to worshiping Him and praising Him for His goodness and the blessings that He provides. So let's read a little bit about that here in Psalm number 92. Psalm number 92. Let's begin reading in verse number 1. Psalm 92, verse number 1, we are told that it is good to give thanks to Yahweh, to sing praise to your name most high, to declare your faithful love in the morning and your faithfulness at night with a 10-stringed harp and the music of a lyre. For you have made me rejoice, Yahweh, by what you have done. I will shout for joy because of the works of your hands. How magnificent are your ways, Yahweh! How significant are your works, Yahweh! How profound your thoughts! A stupid person does not know. A fool does not understand this. Though the wicked sprout like grass, and all evildoers flourish, they will be eternally destroyed. But you, Yahweh, are exalted forever. For indeed, Yahweh, indeed your enemies will perish. All evildoers will be scattered. You have lifted up my horn like that of a wild ox. I have been anointed with the finest oil. My eyes look at my enemies when evildoers rise against me. My ears hear them. The righteous thrive like a palm tree and grow like a cedar tree in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Yahweh, they thrive in the courts of our God. They will still bear fruit in old age, healthy and green, to declare Yahweh is just. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. And that is the reading of Psalm number 92. Psalm number 92, a psalm, a song for the Sabbath day. So this very well might have been one of the songs or the psalms that would have been used as a means of worship on the Sabbath day when the people gathered together. And we note right off the bat that it's not just that it is the right thing to give thanks to Yahweh. Certainly it is for His goodness, but it is a good thing to give thanks to Yahweh. It is beneficial to us, to the worshiper, to give appreciation and to show gratitude to Yahweh. Why? Because number one is a recognition of who He is and what He has done. But number two, again, it is take the focus off of self and really false estimation of self and false credit to self, and to give that proper credit to where it is due, which is certainly Yahweh. So it is good to give thanks to Yahweh, to sing praises, to declare two things, to sing praise to your name, and then to declare two things, to declare your faithful love and your faithfulness. These are the foundational pillars of God's character. So again, it's not just right, but it is also good. Good to give thanks, good to sing praise, good to declare faithful love and faithfulness. So with this established, this is good. Let's unpack a little bit. Whenever we talk about God's faithful love and faithfulness, And then we talk about his name. Uh, what comes with that? Well, what is a sign of his faithfulness and faithful love? Verse number 4. For you have made me rejoice, Yahweh, by what you have done. I will shout for joy because, and notice again, the works of your hands. How magnificent are your works, how profound your thoughts. So think about it. As someone is worshiping Yahweh on the Sabbath day, as they are purposefully focused in worshiping and praise, this something that can happen on this day, and that should happen on this day, is just proper contemplation, thinking and meditating upon Yahweh and his goodness. It reminds me of the first Psalm that we read some months back at the beginning of the year. Thinks about, as it talks about how happy is the one who does not walk in the advice of the wicked, or stand in the pathway of sinners, or sit in the company of mockers. We're about to read about that in a second. Instead, his delight is in Yahweh's instruction, and he meditates on it day and night. Here's a similar person, a person who is made to rejoice not by what he himself has done. The rejoicer, the one who is rejoicing, is not rejoicing in his own works, but instead he is rejoicing in Yahweh's works. He's not shouting for joy because of his works, but because of the work of Yahweh's hands, the contemplation and the recognition of the magnificence of God's work. But not just his work, also his thoughts. His thoughts and his work are so much greater than even what we can understand with our limited perspective and with our limited intellect. So it is a moment to just sit back and contemplate how great God is. It reminds me a lot of what we talked about this past Wednesday night as we're finishing up Romans chapter 11. Oh, the depths and the riches of what? Of God, and of his ways, and of his thoughts, of his mystery, of his salvation, of his love, everything about Yahweh. It is, everything about him is so much greater than what we can comprehend. But that is for the worshiper, for the one, again, who recognizes and respects Yahweh. And part of the respect is observing this day of worship and remembrance and rest. But the person who does not do that, well, they could fall into the category of what we see in the next couple of verses. A stupid person, a fool. Those who would be described in this way, they do not know and they do not understand the greatness of God, his magnificence, just how profound his thoughts are. You see, for them, they sprout like grass. The wicked and the evildoers, they sprout like grass and they flourish quickly. Their success is very much short term. It's very shallow. We've talked about that a couple of times in the past few reads. Going back to Psalm 90, just talks about the people in general, how people grow like grass. In the morning it sprouts and grows, in the evening it withers and dries up. Same idea here for the wicked, that their prosperity is very short term in nature. But their end, the punishment for their wickedness, for their foolishness, for their evil doing, their end is very much contrasted with that, because they will be eternally destroyed. Yes, they have success short term, they prosper in the short term, but long term, they'll do nothing but suffer. But whenever it comes to Yahweh, he's the one that is exalted forever. So they are brought down eternally, but Yahweh is lifted up forever. For indeed, Yahweh, your enemies will perish. All evildoers will be scattered. So they might rise up in a moment, and they might be in power for a moment, but their long-term end, well, it's very negative. They're going to be destroyed. Again, as it's mentioned here, they're going to perish. They're going to be scattered. But contrasted again with the worshiper, with the faithful person, again, they're brought down. But here, the psalmist says, you have lifted up my horn, because it is the one who himself is exalted, Yahweh, who has the ability to exalt others as well. So Yahweh has lifted up the horn, or the strength of the worshiper, even like a wild ox, a strong, mighty wild ox. You have lifted me up like that. And I've been anointed with the finest oil. It's an act of favor, but this act of favor is meant to lead the worshiper to even greater worship, to further service of God, not to rest upon what has happened in the past and to forget God. No. To continue to contemplate God's greatness, to continue to give thanks, to continue to praise, to continue to declare. So don't just stop at the blessing, but use the blessing then to continue in what already led to the blessing from God. But then he looks at the wicked again. It's this contrasting nature in verses 4 through 11. It's good what the worshiper does that is good, what the wicked person does that is evil, and how they're destroyed because of it, and how Yahweh's the one carrying that out. But Yahweh, while he destroys the wicked, he exalts the righteous, and that exalted righteous one is able to look at the enemies. Even whenever they rise up against him, even whenever he hears them, what they're doing is evil, he looks at them and he says, listen, we're in different places. We are in much different places. You might be prospering right now in the short term, but long term, you will experience the wrath of God because of your evil and your wickedness. But long term for the faithful person, verses 12, 13, and 14, the righteous thrive like a palm tree and grow like a cedar in Lebanon. No, they are not like grass, or one translation says sprout like the wicked sprout like a weed. See, that's what the wicked are. The wicked are just grass and weed. They have no real substance. They're here quickly, but just as quickly gone. That's not true for a palm tree, and that's not true for the cedar trees in Lebanon that live for so long, and are so strong, and are so mighty, and have such roots grown into the ground. See, that's the difference. The righteous person, the one who worships Yahweh, the one who is faithful to him, they are lasting. But those who rebel and who are wicked, who are stupid, who are foolish, who are evil, they are quickly passing away. So for the righteous person, again, planted in the house of Yahweh, they thrive in the courts of our God. They will still bear fruit in old age, healthy and green. Again, that reminds me of Psalm number 1, talking about that person who meditates upon Yahweh. He is like a tree planted beside flowing streams that bears fruit in its season and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever he does prospers. We have that returned here in Psalm number 92. That idea is echoed here. They will still bear fruit in old age, healthy and green. But notice this again. Notice that being blessed comes with the expectation of continuing to do what led to the blessing. So they are, note this with me again, verse 14. They will still bear fruit in old age, healthy and green, but to what purpose? To declare, to continue to give thanks, to continue to praise that Yahweh is just. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. So those who live in unrighteousness, those who reject the faithful love of Yahweh, those who reject the faithfulness of God, they're only going to experience this downfall. Again, eternally destroyed, perish, to be scattered. But those who come to him and worship, recognizing his greatness, recognizing his magnificence, recognizing just how profound his thoughts are, those are the people who are going to benefit from his justice. They're going to benefit from his strength and stability as their rock. And they certainly will bear fruit in old age, healthy and green. But again, to continue to maintain faithfulness, to continue to praise, to continue to declare. So may we, on a regular basis, let me suggest you, not just when we are able to assemble together and worship, but may we constantly, as people who are living in the Sabbath rest that is Jesus, who are experiencing a foretaste of it now, but who look forward to experiencing it in eternity, may we have this type of mindset as we go throughout our lives, recognizing the goodness that is giving thanks to God and being those who constantly praise and declare his glories. If you have any questions or comments about Psalm number 92, please feel free to leave that in the comment section below. And I do appreciate you take some time reading along with me today on this Monday. Hope it starts you off in a good way this week. And may God bless you in all that you do. Look forward to reading with you again on Wednesday as we read together about God's eternal reign. Beautiful psalm. We'll get to read together on Wednesday. Looking forward to doing that with you then. Take care and God bless.